Jonathan says we are live. You notice how I do that? I always blame it or predicate it that I could blame it on the camera guy if something went foul here. So I say, Jonathan says, because he's the guy in charge. And if not him, well, I don't know how I'd do this thing, Jonathan. How would I get this done if you weren't here helping out? He's like, I don't know. You better give me a raise. He goes like this, like Johnny Manziel or something. So, anyhow, Renee says, hello from freaking hot Florida. Well, guess what? Monday night it snowed here up above 7,500 feet in Montana. So, it snowed so far every month of the year. I think it snowed 4 or 5 times in June. If we could get snow this month, Jonathan, we've had it snow the end of August before. So we could go, this could be our year where it snows all 12 months, at least once for all 12 months in Montana. So Chris Manders, hey Chris, you any relative of Mike Manders? Because Mike Manders, as we called him, was a high school, he was a couple years behind me in high school. So anyhow, yeah, I like this guy. Hey, it's always the camera guy's fault. See that, Jonathan? The snow is your fault. You see all this stuff right here laying around on the, what do we call this? Our studio table, I think is what we call it. Today, we're going to talk about gear. Summer gear, like little things you should be thinking about, tuning up, planning for the season. I mean, it's July 1st. With any luck, I'm going to be in Nevada archery, antelope hunting a month from now, if I draw my tag in the second draw. So, whenever I talk about gear, I'm always a little bit, well, what would you say, leery about talking about gear. For a couple of reasons. One, everyone has their own idea of what works. What you see me use is what we've kind of filtered through and got to working over the last 25 years. Not saying it's right or wrong, not saying what someone else uses is right or wrong. But my biggest concern about gear is everybody thinks gear is a shortcut. That somehow if you buy new gear, you don't have to invest in knowledge and experience. Right here, your brain is the best piece of gear you'll ever have. And you can invest in that piece of gear for nothing more than your time, effort, and experiences. So don't ever buy new gear at the cost of a tag. If you got, well, I could buy a tag and go on a hunt, or I could buy a new this. Buy a tag and go on a hunt, because the knowledge and experience you're going to learn, whether successful or not, on that hunt is going to get you further in your elk hunting path than all or any gear you could ever buy. So, I just have to preface that because I was in that phase. I've told you many times, my first 6 years, I did not kill a bull elk. And I was all about gear. I was all about gadgets, thinking that that's going to solve it for me. I was being lazy. I wasn't learning about elk. I wasn't reading about elk. I thought, oh, I'll use this stuff I read about in a magazine or something. Nah. The experience and the knowledge and all of this is what's the absolute most important thing. So, with that, Jonathan tells me we are on episode number 94 of Elk Talk Live, brought to you by GoHunt.com. I think tomorrow, maybe it's the next day. Anyhow, they texted me this afternoon and said, hey, Randy, we're getting ready to draw the winner of the Wyoming Commissioner's Tag. And that was anyone for the last fiscal year who was in the draw, used promo code Randy to sign up for the Go Hunt Insider, was in that drawing. So somebody is going to get this tag in the next few days that you get to go turn it in to the state of Wyoming and say, I want that elk tag. And they're going to give it to you, and you're going to go hunting. So, also brought to you by Bowtech. Go to bowtecharchery.com, loophole.com. GerberGear.com, use promo code Randy at GerberGear.com, save 20%. Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls. I can't believe I forgot my bugle again, Jonathan. When we were filming out at the shop the other day, I brought it home. Anyhow, go to Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls and save 15% when you use promo code Randy. And if you're setting up your bow, if you're tweaking it, upgrading it, don't forget about black gold sights, ripcord rests, and tight spot quivers. That's what we use. Everybody here uses them. They are so bomb proof. It's like you can do anything to them and off they go. And today, because a special package showed up in the mail from our friends at Mystery Ranch, we're going to include them as presenters of Elk Talk Live tonight. And if you want to save 10% on all their products, you can do that by buying them at Go Hunt. Go to gohunt.com to their online store. They have a lot of this stuff, all the Mystery Ranch stuff, the Gerber stuff, the things we're going to talk about here, Leupold stuff. You can get that out at gohunt.com, and when you use promo code Randy when you check out, they'll give you 10% off everything in your cart. Or I think everything in your cart. Maybe optics. I think even, I better not say that on optics. You get a discount on optics. I don't know if it's 10%. So, and then we drew all of our prize drawings. In June, we did all these surveys. So many of you were part of it. So we got 10 winners, and 9 of them have replied. So under Montana state law, if you do a sweepstakes, you have to notify the person at least twice. And if after the second time they have not responded within 24 hours, you're supposed to draw another person. So I've got all these winners there, but Gerber and Go Hunt and all of them are like, we want to send them all out at once. So I got this one guy who's holding me up, and I sent him his second email on Monday. Today we drew an alternate, and Steve P. from Bolton, Massachusetts, if you don't get a hold of me by midnight tonight, your $600 gear package is going to the alternate who we drew today. And we got to get these sent out. We got people who won back in early June. They're like, where's my goods? So anyhow, thanks for all of you who are part of that survey. That was super valuable to us, and really, really good. Hey, somebody says, Randy, it looks like it's snowing under your hat. What kind of smart Alex we got there, man? You want to see snow, huh? Look at that. You know, before I hired these camera guys, I had no gray hair. It wasn't because I had a kid. It wasn't because of my marriage. As quick as I started hiring camera guys, my hair went gray. So take that for what it's worth. Let's see. So this guy says, hey, Randy, long-time listener, first-time caller. Ding. But that's what they do on those call-in shows, right? When you say I'm a first-time call-in person, they ding a bell or something. It says, I'm a bigger guy, about 300 pounds, and the inclines really destroy me. Down hurts more than up. Yep, got that. Hurts me more going downhill than up, too. I've been looking at trekking poles. Any recommendations? Yep. The crew here uses something called the Sissy Sticks. S-I-S-S-Y-S-T-I-X. I use Leakey's, L-E-K-I. I like the cork handles. I don't like the foam handles, I like the cork handles. And then whether you want aluminum or you want carbon, it's up to you. But you will find trekking poles make a world of difference. I mean, an unbelievable world of difference. Try them. You'll notice it for sure. Mark Phillips says, are you going to give away some gear on episode 100? Sounds like a challenge, doesn't it, Jonathan? Today, I emailed Yeti with the winners of the Father's Day contest. We drew one on Instagram and we drew one on Facebook. So 2 people are getting Yeti coolers for that. And then we got so many giveaways going on, I can't remember them all. So if you're listening to this and you want in on free goods, we just launched the one with Wild Alaska Seafood Box yesterday. They're sending 10 pounds of their premium Alaska seafood that they get shipped here right from Alaska. And we talked to Yeti, and Yeti's throwing in a 45 quart cooler. But you got to go to our Instagram or Facebook pages to see the rules. Don't go now. After this, go. And both of those are at Randy Newberg Hunter. So give away some, 100th episode. Give away some goodies. All right. Okay. All right. We're going to get into gear. Okay. So I'm going to try anything that's a gear question today. I'm going to try grab it, because a lot of times I pass up the gear questions. So you people who are here asking gear stuff, you oftentimes don't get a fair shake, because I want to focus on information and knowledge that you can use when you're out in the field. But this week I've been over in my shop working on broadheads, working on arrows, practicing, dusting everything off, reorganizing, cleaning water filters, cleaning the bags that we use for filtered water, making sure my tents, and so you get it. You probably do the same thing. So so someone says, what broadheads do I shoot? I shoot bone broadheads, and they're a 2-blade. I shoot 125 grain bone broadhead. All right, Heath says, how about a mystery ranch backpack? Well, we're giving one away to the sweepstakes winners. I only get so many to give away each year, and I think we're out of our quota. But it's good that you said mystery ranch, because that's one of the gear items. That's like the essential piece of where a lot of our gear starts, is the pack. And I'm sure some people who haven't used a really high quality modular backpack are thinking, well, a backpack's a backpack. I used to think the same thing. I'm lucky that Dana Gleason, who him and Renee run Mystery Ranch packs. Before that, he had Dana Design packs, which were world famous mountaineering packs. They were made right here in Bozeman. So Bozeman people, we lucked out that we had a world-class, world-renowned pack designer right here in town. So I bought my first Mystery Ranch pack in 2006, and then I went and bought some more, and I was paying full retail. None of this is giveaway. And over time, started using them, and yeah, now we have a relationship with them, but it changed my thoughts about where I could hunt, where I could go. Because now I knew I could shoot an elk 4 miles from the trailhead. And I had a pack that would collapse as a day pack, but expand as a load hauler, and I could get that thing out of there. And then all of a sudden your mind starts going there. Okay, I can do this, I can do that. All right, I can bring this, I can bring that. Your level of comfort and confidence just goes, at least for me, went really, really, really high. So today, the UPS man shows up, and Mystery Ranch comes out. They've got the new Beartooth 80. That's what this one is right here, I believe. Let me look and see. Better make sure. Yeah, I can tell it's got the side zip. Comes out in the Sitka subalpine camo with the new MT guide light frame. This is the MT Tech guide light frame. They keep upgrading this stuff, and I always forget which phase I'm on. But so this is brand new right out of the box. I use that one on really long trips. I use the gray version on an Alaska sheep hunt. I used it on a Wind River elk hunt in Wyoming. And this year I'll probably use it I'll probably use that subalpine one right there in Wyoming this year when we go in with, we're going in deer and elk hunting. And then here is a smaller one, but again, they're built on this same frame. And so I'm not going to do this, but if you go to Mystery Ranch's website, you can slide this frame apart from the yoke and the bag. I'm right here. I'm not going to be able to show you this properly. But anyhow, you can put an elk quarter down between here, and there's a pouch and then they make this new accessory here that's really cool. So if you can imagine, you take this bag off, and so then you've just got your frame, and you take if you see how it works in person, it's really cool. But this, then, your pack frame is right here. And so your quarter drops down in here, and it's got all these side buckles where you buckle it to the frame of your pack. And you end up locking this thing in here with just this perfect carriage. And in the back, you still meet your blaze orange requirements if it's a rifle season. So, yeah, it's called the back strap. This replaces the old load sling thing they have. They sent us some of these. These are going to get a big workout because a lot of times we put an elk quarter in here, and if you're hauling it out the same time, so you just took it off the elk, and it hasn't had time to hang overnight and the blood to dry and everything, you dump it in here between your bag and your frame, and man, you get a lot of messy blood in there. We'll let this get messy instead of that. So a lot of you ask, what model do I use? Mostly I use the Metcalf. Mystery Ranch's Metcalf for elk hunting is as slick as it gets. It's very adaptable where I can compress it very, very thin to be a day pack. But yet, it can carry enough stuff that when we're filming, we got all of our production gear. It's late season, I'm bringing extra clothes, more survival type gear like fire starter and just extra meals. It'll expand a little more. And then when I shoot an elk, like I was showing you there, I can create this big, I can pull the bag away from the frame and drop that quarter in there. In my first trip out, I'm not wasting a trip. I'm carrying 70, 80 pounds out that trip. So that's the one that we really rely upon. Mystery Ranch just sent us this. This is a new, and everything with Mystery Ranch, if you're, those of you in the military are very familiar with all the MOLLE webbing and straps and stuff. So for our bear spray, they sent us these new bear spray pouches. Go over your mechanism so that it can't accidentally fire. And then you got a tab here, you just boop. So, yeah, all kinds of good stuff here. Some of you might wonder why this is sitting here. I can't tell you how many questions we get about what camera do we use for photography. Now this one's got a bigger lens on it than I normally run, but this is my camera. This is a Sony A6400, and it is really, really slick. It's a camera that I like to take a lot of pictures. I like to be out there when something's happening. The pictures help me tell a story. These guys are telling the video part of it, but I also think on our Hunt Talk forum, there's just so much in pictures. And this costs a little bit more money. They make lower end versions. I've had a 6000, I've had a 6300. This is a 6400. Marcus has a 6500. But these mirrorless mirrorless cameras from Sony, in a pinch, in fact, you'd be surprised how much video you have seen on our platform that was shot with this camera. In fact, some of the stuff you see, with the first hunt I used this on, its previous version, the 6000, was an Alaska Sitka blacktail hunt. And I filmed a lot of that with this, because Tyler was the camera guy. He's behind the shooter. I'm up on a mountain filming them. And the footage is incredible off these if you set them up right. We have little Mystery Ranch pouches, padded pouches that it runs in. I usually have a smaller lens as my generic lens in this. We got a little bracket where we can put a remote mic on here. I don't think we have any of those here with us anyhow. The crew has them all out in the field, but they're these little fuzzball mics. Are they made by Rode or Rode, whatever? So a lot of people ask, and it's like, this is the best. No, not that. That's audio. I'm looking for just the little jack mics with the gray wind fuzzies. There we go. Here, I'll show you how this works. Jonathan's back there. So, if you want to go full on, I bet you I could take this camera out just by myself and I could film a solo hunt, just me. I could film it all just with this camera. And then I could use it to take all my photographs, everything else. if I could see in the dark here. So that fits on there. The audio plugs in. So now I'm getting really good audio. I got a wind fuzzy on it. I'm getting good, really good video. Put this on a tripod. I set it up. I go to do my stock or whatever. Not that any of you are filming, but if you're looking for something that shoots really good video and super good photographs, if you know how to use a camera, you're going to be hard pressed to beat the Sony small mirrorless family from the A6000 to the 6500s. We don't get sponsored by Sony. Let's see. Here's another thing we seldom leave home without. Everybody in the crew has one of these. Gerber makes this thing. It's called the center drive. It's got the normal pliers stuff. It's got all kinds of tools. It comes with a whole bunch of bits and other, I mean, the number of things I can fix on my bow and my rifle or my slings or their cameras or their tripods with just this little sheet or sleeve of bits. And then it comes with this right here. It's got like a screwdriver type bit, and those come out and go back in. And it's got all the normal things like knife blades and can openers and wire cutters. And anyhow, this is one that we don't leave home without. And again, go to gerbergear.com, and if you use promo code RANDY, they'll give you 20% off. And somebody asked, so the Gerber knives are for sale right now. People have been asking, Randy, when are your Gerber knives going to be available? And they're for sale right now, but I'm going to go look right now. I'm going to chime in because the first batch of the exchange blade knives already sold out. So someone told me, hey, I want to buy the exchange blade system, but they're out of stock. So that's currently out of stock. The dual tool system is in stock, and 10% of the purchase price of this goes to the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. So Gerber and I were talking, and they said, hey Randy, you know, you and the Elk Foundation are like peanut butter and jelly, man. We'd love to donate some of the proceeds of this to the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. I'm like, jackpot, man. More public access, more elk habitat. So anyhow, these knives, we've got videos that have been launched on our YouTube channel that talk about how we're using them and how you could use them. Let's see. Mike says, Sony gear has never disappointed me either. I'm with you on that one. Do I still use a rangefinder? Dang. Do we have a rangefinder in that bino harness back there? Nope. See, that's the other thing. I bring all the gear here for the camera guys to use, and what can I find? I find a pair of binoculars sitting on the counter. My buddy Paul out at FHF Gear makes great bino harnesses. We use his, we use Sitka's sometimes. Mr. Ranch makes one, Loophole makes one. Every pair of binos is supposed to be in a bino harness with a rangefinder. And what do I do when I come in here? I just find a random pair of binoculars, completely unclipped. So, what rangefinder do I use? I have a Leupold TBR 1600. That's the one that I've been using lately. I've been using them as they've been progressing at Leupold. Okay, they did the TBR 1000, then they did the 1200. I was using that, and then they did the 1600. Now I'm using that. So they've worked really, really good for me. Let's see. Jonathan and I were just talking about Devin's question before we came on the air. So I'm going to answer Devin's question. Hey Randy, I have a Leupold spotting scope and it's pretty heavy to hike with. Do you recommend having a big one for main spotting and a smaller one on the mountain? You know, you asked me, Jonathan, do we need this small spotter for anything tonight? I guess we do. Is it over there somewhere? So Leupold makes their gold ring version, and then they make their SX5 Santium version. Here's a 60 millimeter gold ring version that's super lightweight and super compact. When I'm going up on the mountain and weight is an issue, this is, I mean, you're not going to find a 60 millimeter spotting scope at this weight level, this compactness, and this quality of glass. They just aren't made. You can get 60, 65s that are longer and heavier or whatever. But the total combination of all that is right here in this gold ring Leupold spotter. So I know some people say, hey, I can barely afford to buy a spotter. Which one should I buy? I would say buy the one you're going to get the most use out of. I have 80 millimeters. I have every spotter Leupold makes. And the heavy one, I'm going to keep in my truck. That's for antelope. That's for, okay, we're in a highly roaded area, say we're antelope hunting, or we're in Wyoming deer hunting or whatever, and there's roads everywhere. Well, that heavier spotter, yeah, I'll drive here, get out, glass. Okay, jump in, drive there, get out, glass. Or a lot of times when we're antelope hunting, the antelope stay away from the roads. They're one ridge or two ridges over because the roads, you get shot when you're near a road. So I'll grab my spotter and I'll use my big one because I'm only hiking a half mile to the next ridge or the second ridge, and I'll glass from there. But a lot of times if I'm going 5 miles back in and I don't have llamas with me, 60 millimeter gold ring is a solution to that. So, let's see. Coffee is a must, but instant Starbucks is good. Oh, okay. That's good to know. This is what we drink. This is Elkhorn Coffee Roasters right here in Bozeman, Montana. Scott and April are amazing people. They're a small little business. And if you go to elkhorncoffeeroasters.com, it's really, really good coffee. This is what we use out in the field. And they happened to drop some by here yesterday. And so when I was scanning the office just an hour ago, grabbing stuff that we use, their coffee was there. We don't get a dime. We just want to see them, small business. We want to see them be a success. So, ooh, here's a common question. Wide angle or straight eyepiece for your spotter, Randy? I used to be a straight guy, but then I started doing some of these mountain hunts like sheep and mountain goat. And when you're looking up and you know, your pivot point on your spotter with your tripod is there and you go like this to look up the mountain. So now your eyepiece is way down here and you got to get underneath there. I'm an angled eyepiece guy to the point where even when I'm on flat ground, I almost even then grab the angled eyepiece. It's really what your personal preference is. Doesn't matter. There's not a right, not a wrong. Let's see. What state has the best youth elk hunting opportunities? Josh asks that. His son Brody. Hey Brody, how are you? He wants to go elk hunting. It depends on if you're going to apply also. Arizona, a youth gets a non-resident hunting license for $5. $5. There's no state out there that's that cheap. And they can apply for tags for a pittance. If you got a kid you're going to be traveling with them to elk hunt or deer hunt or antelope hunt, and you're not applying in Arizona, man, you are missing the boat. So I would say Arizona first, but all the draws are done for this year for the most part. Ooh, but today, July 1st, you can go to Wyoming and buy your points, right? Because Wyoming no longer gives you a point for being unsuccessful. That's how it used to be. Go to Wyoming Game and Fish and buy your points between now and I think the end of October. Don't forget to do it. Elk, deer, and antelope, go buy your points now. So, yeah, do that. do I use a ballistic calculator in my rangefinder, or do I manually calculate my drops? Greg asked that. Well, all of my scopes have the CDS system in it. It's called the Custom Dial System by Leupold. And someone asked this very similar question on our Facebook channel today, or Facebook page today. And I'm going to pull it up here because I was going through all those questions. And who was it? Right here. He goes by Primal Breed, whatever that is. So asks a similar question. And he's saying, do you set your dial to one average, try to split the difference, or what do you do? Yes, I have a standard setting on all my dials. And those dials, you tell them what elevation you're going to be at and what atmospheric temperature. Now, instantly, the serious shooters who are listening to me are going to say, wait a second. You know, if you set that for 7,000 feet and you go hunt at 1,000 feet, there's going to be changes in that, how that dial adjusts for your trajectory. Yep, there is. Or because I set mine for, my dials are set for 7,000 feet of elevation and 40 degrees Fahrenheit with 100 yard zero. Now, under 400 yards, which is the distances we take shots at, we don't shoot out past 400. So I say normal hunting distances, those differences, if you go from that elevation to a higher elevation, or from 7,000 to a lower elevation, or if it's warmer than 40 degrees Fahrenheit or colder, the deviations are pretty small. I mean, almost so small that you really don't have to adjust to them except in pretty extreme circumstances. So that's what I go with on my CDS dials. And then the question here was, do I use a ballistic calculator or do I manually calculate my drops? I go out to our range here and I shoot and I shoot and I shoot. I chrono everything so I know what my muzzle velocity is. And then I start matching that to how my dials are etched. So I march it out. Okay, I zero at 100. I march it out to 200. Okay, at 200, is it doing what my dial says it should be doing? Okay. Is it doing it at 300 and is it doing it at 400? And then I know. And if not, I got to adjust something. I got to adjust my zero, or I got to get a different dial or something. But all of that then is calibrated with whatever rangefinder I use. So if I'm out at the range, I want whatever my rangefinder reads to be, if it says 100, I want it to be 100 on my rangefinder. If I'm ranging a target at 300, it better say 300 on my rangefinder because that's what I'm spinning for. I don't want 320. I don't want 330. I want my rangefinder and my dial to be calibrated together. Now, if you go out to our YouTube channel, you will see that we did videos about how to make sure your rangefinder is accurate. So I'm going to grab this pair of binoculars, but let's assume this is a rangefinder. And then let's assume this is where the laser comes out and it bounces back to the receptor. And it knows how fast the laser's going out and bounces back, so that it does the math and tells you, oh, yeah, that's how far the distance is, because it knows that stuff. It can calculate it. But let's say that the laser comes out at a slightly higher angle. So you're on your rangefinder like this, and you think you're hitting that deer. Really, you're hitting the tree back behind it 40 yards because your rangefinder laser is not perfectly aligned with the viewfinder. And we talk about how you can figure that out in that video. Or maybe it's slightly this angle or that angle. So instead of ranging that deer at 300 yards, it's missing the deer and going to a rock 45 yards behind the deer. Or maybe it's going down and it's hitting the dirt or a rock or something 40 yards in front of the deer. Well, you got some problems if that's the case. So there's ways you can check to make sure that your rangefinder, that the laser and the viewer You know, mine, I set mine to have a traditional crosshair in mine. But those are calibrated, and wherever that crosshair is located, that's where the laser is hitting and coming back to you. Go watch that video on our YouTube channel. It might save you some headache. And you'll find out, hopefully you're not one of those lucky people who thought you were saving some money on a rangefinder, only to find out how many of those lower price, I'm not going to say anything. There's some rangefinders, you start getting to a certain price point, and quality control is not that great, where you're going to have the laser shooting up, shooting down, shooting left, shooting right, and you're going to be frustrated as all get out. And when you're trying to calibrate everything with your rifle and your dials, you think it's your rifle or your ammo or your dials. It's not. It's your rangefinder. So whatever you do when you're putting these systems of equipment together, make sure you test your rangefinder to make sure that it is dialed, that the laser is hitting exactly where the point of measurement is intended to be. So, anyhow, don't know if that answers everything, but at least related to that, I hope so. Someone says, hey Randy, we need a Sitka promo code. I've been working on them on that. You guys need to email Sitka and say, hey, we need promo code Randy. See what they tell you guys. So far, I've not had any success with it. Let's see. Oh, Jonathan, did you just link? Yeah, he just linked the video there that I was talking about. It's how to sight in your rangefinder. So it's hopefully that helps a lot. Oh, Zach makes another good point. Lasers are also a wave, and they aren't pinpoint like the little laser pointer you think. So you want to be thinking about that kind of stuff also. And on a really bright day with a lot of heat waves and stuff, and a target that's not going to have a big rebound, you'll say, well, why can't I range that? I know it's 1,600 yards. Well, exactly what Zach is talking about. This wave starts getting dispersed, and when it comes back, it gets more dispersed. So it doesn't matter what rangefinder you're using, you're going to struggle to get some really good, accurate readings at that point. Let's see. Somebody on our Facebook also asked this question. Let's see, where is it? Randy, I've been watching a lot of bear survival videos. I think this has to do when we talked about hunting in grizzly bear country last week. It says, should you ever play dead during a grizzly bear attack if you have nothing else to defend or to fend them off? No bear spray, no gun, no slow hunting buddy that you can outrun. So that's a really good question, because the answer is different for a grizzly bear than it is for a black bear. With a grizzly bear, all the experts say go in the fetal position, cover the back of your neck, and play dead. So your head is going to get munched on, but you're not going to get paralyzed if the bear just augers around on your head. Now, if he gets you by the neck, things are not good. So that's why they say put your hands, clasp your hands behind your neck, get in the fetal position, and hopefully the bear leaves you alone. Because mostly a grizzly bear is coming at you because they sense that you are a threat. When you're in the fetal position, you're not fighting, you're not anything, they think you're dead, and they leave and go with their cubs or whatever. Now, if it's a black bear, they usually are coming because you're food. Fight back with all you can. Rock, stick, fist, kick them, gouge them, got a pen, jab them in the eye, whatever it takes with a black bear, fight back. Hopefully you never end up in that situation. Very, very seldom does that happen. But that's what everybody says is the two different ways. So I know some people will be like, well, what am I supposed to do? Ask the bear, are you a black bear or are you a grizzly bear? Well, if you go out to Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks website, I don't know if Idaho and Wyoming have this, but Montana has a bear identification test that you have to take to bear hunt in Montana. And that's really, really helpful in understanding the difference between grizzly bears and black bears. Randy, how long does it typically take you to butcher an elk in the field? After hunting deer in Montana the last few years, we're focusing on elk and we're just curious. Well, if I'm not recording it for the camera, if it comes to rest in a decent location, not under a bunch of deadfall or falling off a cliff, if it's daylight, I can get it done in less than an hour and a half. But usually I like to take my time. I want to take care of the meat, you know, keep it as clean as possible, make sure I got every cut, every little scrap. I'd say normally it's an hour and a half to 2 hour ordeal. But at night on a steep slope all by myself, it can be longer. It can be a lot longer. There's sometimes where it's like, oh man, this is painful. Why did I do this? So someone asked the question, do you look at bull to cow ratios when selecting a unit, or do you look at success rates? For me, I put way more emphasis in success rates, and here's why. You can have very low elk densities, a very low elk number, but high bull to cow ratios. And you're gonna have, if those densities are that low, you're gonna have super low success rates. So I'm looking for one that has decent bull to cow ratios and higher success rates. And when I'm talking bull to cow ratios, I prefer 20 or above when it comes to a bull to cows. And what they mean by that is how many bulls per 100 cows. So if I see 20 or above, you got my attention. Now, I'll tell you, I do hunt some units where it's 14, 15, 18. And then I hunt some units where if I luck out and draw a tag, it's 40 or 35. So I probably pay more attention. I pay way more attention to success rates than I do bull to cow ratios. So, let's see. Josh keeps scaring everybody away from Idaho. Earlier he said there are no elk in Idaho. Now he said the grizzly bears chase all the elk out of Idaho. Eiger Climber wants to know when Howa will produce a left-handed rifle. Probably never. I just say that because I've asked them multiple times, and they just don't produce a left-handed rifle. It's just how it is. I wish it was different. I wish I could answer that differently, but that's just the way it is. So. Let's see. I've drawn a cow elk tag in Idaho for late October. Would you recommend sleeping in a camper, in a base camp, or camping in a tent around the mountain? Depends on what you prefer and what fits for what is the best fit for your hunt. Do you need to be mobile? If so, you probably want a base camp whether a tent or camper, it doesn't matter. And it allows you to go to multiple trailheads and explore here one day, there another day, there another day. Or maybe you feel like all of the best hunting, all the best food, everything else that cows are gonna need is way back there. I don't wanna hike in and out of there every day, so I'm gonna go way back and set up a spike camp or a backpack camp. It's really hard to say. The one thing that you will always hear from us is, it depends. I know that might not be the answer that people want to hear, but very, very often it depends. So let's see. A lot of people are asking us, when are we going to come and hunt back east? The odds are probably never. We answer this many times. And the reason being is our sponsors and our audience expect us to do Western hunting. There's all kinds of other platforms that do whitetails and turkeys and whatever, and that's their gig, and watch their stuff. For us, we're focused on public land hunting, self-guided hunting in the Western United States. And so that's what we commit to people we're going to produce. So that's why you won't see us in Tennessee or Pennsylvania or Maine or whatever. So nothing against that. It's just, you know, we stay in our lane, for lack of a better term. Randy, with all of your travel, how do you take care of your meat and get it home? That's what coolers are for. On our YouTube channel, we've done videos about how many coolers, what volume in terms of quarts it takes to get it out processed and get it home. We talk about how we use frozen milk jugs, sometimes dry ice, whatever it is. We haul it home. Like when we go to Alaska, we fly it home. So meat, like we go up there and we shoot a bear. That bear meat, if we get it cooled down really good and we check it as our luggage, and yeah, you got to pay extra to ship 100 pounds of bear meat. You got 2 coolers, 50 pounds each full of bear meat. To get it home, it's going to cost you some money. But if you look at the cargo hold, right, in an airplane, it's not heated. It's really cold up there at 30,000 feet. So it's not like it's out baking in the sun. When I get home, that meat is just fine. Let's see. A lot of questions about cow elk hunting. Corey Jacobson and I do the Elk Talk podcast. If you don't listen to it, I hope you will. I hope you'll subscribe. I think it was about 2-3 months ago, we did an episode strictly on cow elk hunting. And the basic premise is when you're talking cow elk, you're talking about a food pattern. Food, 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 and more food. So what was that look for? Oh, Jonathan just gave me the, hey, Randy, it's time to tell people about our 4th of July t-shirts. These are one of a kind, limited run. What's this one? Public land. This land is your land. This land is our land. And then this one is, there's a spelling error on this one. So I'm thinking we should auction this one off. So the company sends us demos. So we got piles of shirt demos back here. We should not auction them, just put a price on them and say, for $30, you can have this one of a kind sample that's we never produced, and we'll send the $30 to the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation or somebody. But anyhow, this one here, if you look, it says, hunt like your own it. They spelled you. They put an R on it. They made you your. We almost approved this until somebody said, hey, they spelled that wrong. So from now until Monday, July 6th at midnight, if you use promo code Randy out there, you get 20% off. All these new 4th of July, kind of Independence Day. That's why I'm wearing my Leupold hat with the flag, right? Independence Day coming up. So did I do good on that, Jonathan? All right, I got the thumbs up on that. All of our merchandise sales, they get half the profit. The other half goes to cover overhead. So these guys are always pushing the merchandise. What I have found in telling them that they get most of the profit from the merchandise is if you want to incentivize your employees to work hard at something and spend every spare minute thinking about it, give them a portion of the profit. So, Ray Garcia says, hey, it's an error shirt, just like in sports cards or sometimes in coins, right? So I'm thinking the one with the printing error. There will never be another t-shirt like this ever again. Wonder what that would be worth. Maybe if Jonathan signed it, it'd be worth more. But anyhow, that has nothing to do with elk hunting. Oh, what did I drop there? Or was that yours? Oh, Jonathan dropped his phone. Let's see. All right, here's one. Where did it go? They're scrolling through here so fast I can't see them right now. Someone is saying something about Jim Batesdale, my buddy Jim up in Alaska. He is the man. Jim Batesdale, that guy knows so much. Let's see. Okay. What are some tricks you use to reduce the amount of browning on your meat, or other than stick it in a cooler with milk jugs or game bags? Or is that all that you do? Yeah, that's really all we do. That little bit of browning that happens on your meat doesn't hurt it at all. I hear people say, oh, that ruins it. I eat that stuff. So I wouldn't worry about it. All right, Andy says he's bidding $55 for RMEF for that shirt, Jonathan. All right, Andy, when we put that thing up there, we're gonna, you have a reserve on the auction, I think. Okay, Randy, can you let us know what water filter you guys use for your pack-in hunts? Thank you. This is Daniel. Again, we've got a YouTube video on that about how to filter water, and we walk through gravity filters, we walk through pump filters, we walk through all of them. And we use gravity filters. We usually use the 10-liter ones, either by Catadine or Adventure Medical Kits. Those are the two that we use. We run them through the filters. They go really fast if you do it right. And then we carry these clear, foldable platypus bags, and we filter 10 liters right into those bags. And then we can carry these bags of water up and have them around our camp so we don't have to filter water every time we need it. So those, again, you can get those at gohunt.com at their online store and use promo code Randy and save 10% on them. So look at that, Jonathan, there he goes. This Jonathan guy over here, man, he's jonesing for a raise. He put the video link right there. Man. Oh man, Ray Garcia, he's bumping you up there, Andy. He's bidding $75 for that misspelled shirt for RMEF. Oh, now Devin's going to 80. Man, we got an auction going on here. Someone says they're watching this in a place where it's 4 a.m. Holy cow. I wouldn't stay awake past 10 p.m. to listen to Randy Newberg carry on. Yeah. So, Jonathan's editing. I wonder if anybody watched our shop story about the train wreck that was the Alaska moose hunt. A lot of people did because it's got 250,000 views in 2 weeks. Well, we're doing another one, and we're thinking of a title for it. It was a hunt that it went so bad it never even made TV. That's how bad it went. I almost died of the dysentery, and so we're trying to think of what name to call it. I had a camera guy, this contract production crew I used previously. They do the Mountain Man show. So the first year that they got the Mountain Man show, all of my crew ended up going to Alaska and North Carolina and Montana and Yak country filming the Mountain Man show. So they were bringing in all these new guys trying to see if they'd work for me. Well, the night before season, Unit 17 in New Mexico, right? One of the top archery elk hunts in all of New Mexico. This guy flakes out and quits the night before the hunt. It's only a 6-day hunt. So he quits. Now they got to try fly another camera guy down to me. I lose the first 3 days of season, I lose. Well, here's where the dysentery thing comes in. And I'm kind of giving it a test run here on Elk Talk Live to see if people think that this is worthwhile to hear. But have you ever had a really bad gastrointestinal problem while out hunting? I mean, like something that you almost would go to the hospital for under normal circumstances? That's what happened to me. I get a flat tire, it's opening day. Well, I don't have a camera guy, so I'm out scouting. I come back to the trailhead at noon to my truck, and someone has pounded a nail into the sidewall of my truck. So I go to town, little town Magdalena, and get my tire fixed. And a couple years earlier, I'd been to this little restaurant, caddy corner across the street from the tire shop, and it was really good. So I'm like, I'm going back there. So I go there, and on the little whiteboard, chalkboard, it says 5-alarm chili and homemade cornbread. Well, I'm a chili connoisseur, man. Well, we'll get into all this, but anyhow, I eat this chili, and it's not even 5-alarm, it's 2-alarm. And before I can get out of town, I'm having like major issues. I have major issues over that chili for the better part of 2 or 3 days. To the point where I can't walk. I mean, my bottom is so raw. I can't walk, I can't anything. And I'm supposed to climb up these ridges elk hunting. And if I coughed or sneezed or anything, it's like, man, I might need a new pair of britches. So I'm blowing on my elk bugle. It's really, really bad. So I don't know if people would want to watch that one or not, because we have such little footage of elk. But hopefully the story of, my stomach was not right for 3 months. That guy, so when I ordered the 5-alarm chili, the lady, the waiter, the server, she's looking at me like, this guy looks like a square-headed Finlander from northern Minnesota. I bet you he's not accustomed to New Mexico style chili. So she tries to talk me out of 5-alarm. I'm like, no, look, man, I'm really with the chili, man. I'm down with it. Let's go. So she goes in the back, and here comes El Jefe, the dude, the man. And he's talking to me, and he's just a super nice guy. And he's explaining to me, you know, this isn't like, he asked me where I'm from. I said, well, I grew up in northern Minnesota, but I lived in Montana for 20-some years. He's like, well, this isn't Montana chili. I'm like, I don't care, bring it on. So he makes me a deal. He says, I'll make you 2-alarm chili, and if it's not hot enough, you can bring it back, we'll fire it up. We'll get it to 5-alarm. Well, all I ended up with was 2-alarm or 3-alarm chili, and it nearly killed me. The whole hunt. My backpack, my Mystery Ranch backpack is stuffed. It looks like I'm going on a 30-day bivouac. And Lauren, my camera guy who finally gets there, one of my old reliable camera guys, he's like, what the heck you got in your pack, man? I'm like, I got about 14 rolls of toilet paper and 3 extra set of underbreeches. And he starts laughing so hard. The whole hunt, he's walking behind me because I'm waddling, right? When your bottom's sore, your feet, you don't walk normal. You kind of do this stuff. And the whole hunt, he's laughing. He's trying to film me, and he's laughing because I can't blow my bugle without worrying I'm gonna poop my pants. I can't walk. I ride in my truck down those bumpy roads, and I'm steering, and I got one arm holding my butt off the seat of my truck, and I'm doing this. So that's what the next shop story episode is about. How long do you think it's gonna be, Jonathan? Another 40-minute job? Oh, he says maybe even more. And so the reason that we decided to make this the second one is when we'll be driving down the road somewhere, we'll be out on a hunt, and something will happen, and I'll say, man, that's just like that New Mexico hunt in 2011. And the crew will say, well, what was that? And when I tell them the story, it takes them about 3 hours to quit laughing. I'll hear them laughing in their tents that night over this story, or parts of it. So we thought, all right, let's do it. And Ray says, so you'll figure out what I did try firm things up there. So, but I tell you what, New Mexico folks are some of the kindest people in the world. They have the best chili in the world. Nothing against you Texas folks, but New Mexico has the chili thing dialed. It's just a matter of how hot you can handle it. You know, like in that, what was that movie with Jack Nicholson, You Can't Stand the Truth? What was that? It was about the Marine. Yeah, You Can't Handle the Truth or whatever. Anyhow, I've watched it 20 times with Tom Cruise, that little dude, the smart mouth guy. Anyhow, when it comes to New Mexico, you can't handle the heat, was what it was for me. I'm like, it was bad. Anyhow, I don't know. That has a little bit to do with elk hunting, because one of the things of gear that I bring with me is lots of TP. After that event, I don't skimp on TP. In fact, if you look in our stash, one cooler is almost, one of our dry coolers is about half of it's TP. because I'm not going to have like a COVID-19 scarcity of TP the next time I have an event like I had in New Mexico in 2011. And I don't go, oh, there, someone says, oh, Randy, you're thinking of the movie A Few Good Men. That's it. I am not using low quality toilet paper. That's one of the first things I do when I'm in a camp or I see some other guy's stuff packed. I kind of glance to see, is he like this industrial strength one ply newspaper kind of dude for toilet paper? That should be one of the things that help you decide if you want to hunt with this person. If that person hunts with low grade toilet paper, they're probably not someone, I mean, their understanding of risk reward and what's worth it and not worth it, they fail that test. And you may want to reconsider a different hunting partner. Because my Uncle Larry, if you watch the new, did we release that on Monday, the Larry's Elk Hunt in Wyoming, the Amazon version? So the Amazon version, we moved it over to our YouTube channel on Monday. And Larry there, if you watch the outtakes, the last 3 minutes is all outtakes of Larry cussing. Well, Larry has a saying about cheap toilet paper that I believe. He says it gets all of the new and some of the old. I don't do low quality TP. So, enough of that. It's a crappy subject to waste that much time on. So, someone from Arizona says, Randy, what's your opinion on waiting decades for a trophy hunt versus applying for a less popular unit with higher odds? I drew a 13B mule deer tag after 19 years. Woo! All right. I'm never waiting that long again. Well, I had a 13A mule deer tag right next door, just east of there. My theory on that is it's not worth waiting that long. The beauty is, if you play your cards right and your financial budget and your time budget allows you to kind of play this state as a short-term plan, this one as a mid-term plan, and that one as a long-term plan, you can have some of those long-term plans out there. It's kind of like your investment portfolio, right? You're diversified. You got some that are long-term investments, some that are shorter guaranteed income type investments, and you got some sort of growth income type investments in the middle. Well, there's nothing wrong with having a few of those that are your home run chances, but don't make those your only chances. 19 years, actually you're lucky that you drew that tag after 19 years. I think max points for deer right now in Arizona is 21. So most of the time you got to get up past that. So I'm one of those guys who I want to go more, and I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket. Like, I'll give you an example. I love to pronghorn hunt. I didn't draw in Wyoming this year. I don't know how. Last year I was guaranteed. I know how. I mean, a lot of people jumped over into that unit. They'd been buying points, and then they're like, oh, I could draw this one. Shoot. So they all applied, and now it took more points. We call it point creep. Happens all the time. Doesn't surprise me when it happens. But I'm going to use, in the Nevada leftover draw that comes out next week, if I draw, I'm burning 7 non-resident pronghorn points for a leftover archery pronghorn hunt because I like to go archery pronghorn hunting. So my point of using that is, I don't care if it's elk, I don't care what it is, just make sure that you're going. Because there's nothing that is going to replace, in a lot of respects, the knowledge, just the memories, the experience of going out there and hunting. I learn so much every time I go that, filled tag or not, the experience and the knowledge I gain is worth every bit of it. And we see these people all the time. They wait 15 years, 20 years to draw a tag, and it's their second or third elk hunt, and they get the tag, and quite honestly, they're not prepared to go out and have a quality hunt because they haven't been doing a bunch of hunts along the way. I mean, after my second elk hunt, I didn't know poop from apple butter. So go, 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 go. So Ryan asks, Randy, are you going to do any archery elk hunting this year in Montana or any other state? I always do some archery elk hunting in Montana, or just about always. I have an archery elk tag in Idaho. Depending on how the calendar works, I might do archery elk in Wyoming, and if I don't get it, I'll go back in the rifle season. Same in Montana. If I don't have success with my archery tag, or in my archery hunting, I'll go do rifle. My other two hunts, Colorado and Oregon, are both rifle hunts. So. Let's see. Ball head or pan head? Always a pan head on a tripod, on a spotter. I hate ball heads because as quick as you loosen it, you've got all three axes that you're trying to relocate again. At least with a pan head, I can lock the horizontal axis that I know it's just going to go this way. Or I can lock that, and then it's strictly the vertical axis and go this way. Some people like a ball head, not me. Let's see, what is the weight of a 60 to 65 millimeter head tripod spotter combo? That's a good question. I think we can keep it under 5 pounds. So, I should check that before I say it, but I think when we were talking about that one day, we came to the conclusion that this with a carbon fiber tripod was under 5 pounds. So we got a universal clip here. We have a loop-holed carbon fiber tripod. I think that's how we got it. Ryan asks, hey Randy, do you still do the gutless method when it's hot out? Oh yeah, I do it even more when it's hot out. Or would it be a good idea to open up the elk to dissipate the heat faster? No, you are not going to get that. What comes out of the gut cavity is not what's, what you're trying to get exposed to the air are these big hind quarters in these front quarters, because when that elk's laying there, they got all that fur, all that insulation, the ground is insulation. Get those forequarters off as quick as you can. Gutting it, it's not going to get the heat out fast enough. So I always, especially in hot weather, I always use the gutless method. So so my GK asked a question, Randy, can you talk about prescription eyeglasses, progressive lenses versus bifocal? My buddy Tom Sather is an optometrist here in Bozeman, and he is a fanatic hunter. He's been on some hunts with me. Actually, the reason I had LASIK surgery, he was helping me on a Nevada pronghorn hunt. I was wearing glasses at the time. I set them down on the cot, and I sit down and I mangle these glasses. And I yell over, hey Tom, you got your repair kit with you? He's like, why? I said, I just sat on my glasses. And with a bunch of mumbling and carrying on, he comes over there and he looks at him and he's like, blankety blank, I don't know if I can fix these. Well, he got them fixed enough that I could put them on and go on my hunt. But he made me promise I would get LASIK surgery after that. And so I did that winter. So I think I should have him on here. And yeah, he would be the guy to answer that question about bifocal, progressives, all that. So let's see. JT says, again, this keeps being asked, so I'm going to say it again because I think some people jumped in later. Randy, when are the new Gerber Randy Newberg knives going on sale? I originally thought June 19th. I contacted Gerber. They said July 1. Tried today, and it said coming soon, out of stock. Yes. So what we call the dual tool system, the DTS with the tendon tool, that's in stock. The EBS, the exchange blade system, they got a bunch of them. They're out of stock, and I've been told it's that any day they'll be here. So I'm hoping that they get here pretty soon, because the first batch of these, the first order, boom, gone. So Sorry about that. But go to gerbergear.com, use promo code Randy, and save 20% when you buy there. Let's see. Tristan says, I'll pay $199 for that t-shirt with the misprint on it. We started something there, Jonathan. Whatever we do, we better pull this one aside that's got the misspelling, because I think this one, where do we tell them to send their money? Oh, Ray, though, look at Ray. He's saying $190 and the chilly blizzard that they have in South Texas. I don't know. I think that the chilly blizzard doesn't do RMEF any good. So it would have to go to Tristan, I think, for the $199. Hunt like you're own it. I'm glad somebody caught that. Can you imagine if we sold 100 t-shirts that... So the other thing we're doing is our friends at Sitka Gear. They said, Randy, we got 90 subalpine hats for you. You want them? I said, yeah, I'll take them. So we shipped those 90 hats to the company that does our merch, and they built this little patch for us. I think RJ said you guys are going to have those ready in August. They're the subalpine. They're going to be like serious hunting hats, but there's only going to be 90 of them. So, how many pins do I shoot with on my bow? 3. I have a 20, a 30, and a 40. I'm not a long bomb kind of shooter guy. So I only shoot out to 40. Let's see. Carl asks, should any caliber you choose be one that you could normally find ammo for in most stores in case you lose your ammo? You know, I hear a lot of people say that. I don't let that drive my decision. I want to have the best ammo I can get for the hunt I'm on, and those are usually elk hunts. And I'm bringing it with me. I've never, now that I say this, knock on wood, I've never left without my ammo. So this is, and someone asked this earlier, Randy, I bought a 308. What do you shoot out of your 308? I shoot the 308 165 grain Nosler partition. Super, super good elk bullet, made in 1940. This bullet revolutionized kind of the partition style bullet. In 1948, John Nosler invented this, and we did a podcast with his grandson, J.R. John Nosler. We did that. It released this week out on the Hunt Talk Radio podcast. It tells the story about how this bullet got developed. E-tips. That's probably my go-to elk bullet. Well, this is 7mm08, but in my 300 Win Mag. And some of my rifles prefer, just by a small margin, the Accubon over the E-tip. So I let my rifle tell me what it prefers, but this is Accubon. Any of those three, those are super high quality bullets. I'm going with the best bullet I can get, and that's just the way I want to do it. Oh, hey, San, our T guy, Triple T is on. He says, Randy, for that price, I can print more of those t-shirts. San, come on, you can't do that to us, man. We're out here pitching this as a one-of-a-kind, and the guy in South Dakota who does our t-shirts shows up and says, oh, I'll print a whole bunch of them. No way, San, we aren't doing that. We got one. We got one misprint t-shirt, and that's it. We can't do that to the good folks. They'll think that we jerked their chain the whole time here. Man, we're already up. Ray Garcia says $400 for the t-shirt, but I have to sign it. Ray, for $400, I'll sign it. I'll do whatever. Yeah. Dang. Drew says, damn it, Ray, you're killing us. So then Ray says, wait a second, I think it's mass produced. I'm down to $1. You guys are too funny. Oh, trust me, whoever buys the misprint shirt, I'm going to sign it and I'm going to send them a hat along with it. In fact, whoever buys this misprint t-shirt, I'm going to sign it. I'm going to send them a hat, and I'm going to send them a Gerber DTS. How's that? Man, I'm letting my mouth get out in front of my pocketbook here. But I hope you guys have as much fun listening to this stuff as I have doing it. You guys make me laugh so hard. I'm so thankful that anybody would watch what we do or listen to anything we say. And this is a little bit of, Randy's going to get on his Great America soapbox, okay? It's the 4th of July coming up. Independence Day. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, such as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I don't care about what you hear on the news, all the stuff on Facebook that can get you down. I am happy as hell that I was born in the United States of America. Imperfections, warts, bumps, you name it. I'm happy to be here. And I wake up every day and say, I am so lucky. I live in the United States of America, and I get to go hunt public land and fish, and I can own firearms. And so that's, to me, that's a pretty important thing. And 4th of July, what I want all of you to do is blow up your Facebook and go out with your family and your friends, do the required things, you know, whatever is required to stay healthy. And get your mind off this, all this negativity, and go do something fun. And remember, you live in the greatest country in the world. We have a constitution that there's times we don't like that. Guess what? It says these people can do that. The Supreme Court says this is allowed or that's allowed. You know what? Yeah, there's times dang, I wish it wasn't that way. But that Constitution and its Bill of Rights and all of its amendments are freedoms and liberties that we have, that we should be thankful for every day. And every day I say a prayer of thanks for the people who make it possible and have made it possible. And I don't care if those are people who are currently serving, I'm grateful for them. People who have served, people who served and didn't come home, I am grateful for every one of them. And on the 4th of July, I wear this kind of stuff. And if you think I'm kind of just an old goofball, that's all right. I'm a goofball with a smile on my face every day. I'm 55 years old. I've never had a bad day in my life, and I'm not going to start those kind of bad habits at this point. And that's what it's about. So, let me think. What do we got here? Happy 4th of July to all you also. But somebody was really bidding up this t-shirt here. What did we see there? Somebody said, Ray said $1,000? GK says $800 with a signature, and I get to have lunch with you in Montana. $800 for that t-shirt and that knife and a signature? I'll take you to any joint in Bozeman. Man, we got quite a thing going on here. Holy cow. I don't know what we're going to do with that shirt, Sam. But anyhow, I appreciate that all of you are here. I appreciate all that we're blessed with. And I say this somewhat serious. I worry about how much negativity there is in our lives. That's why when I do this stuff, I try to make you laugh a little bit. I want you to smile. I want your mind to go to a place of, you know what? Forget about all that stuff. For an hour or however long you watch our stuff or listen to our stuff, you're just thinking about something else. Because I have a theory that when I get up in the morning, whether I say it's going to be a good day or a bad day, I'm right. And some people are like, what do you mean? Most of that is a function of, I say it's going to be a good day, and I make my point that it's going to be a good day. It usually is. And this is nothing against Facebook, but I just don't see where Facebook has much value, okay? It just got to the point of being so negative, so divisive, so everything. it's like, I wish I didn't have to have a Facebook page for these platforms. I wouldn't. I want to celebrate what's good about America. I want to talk with all of you and laugh and smile and have a 4th of July. My son's coming home. We're going fishing or something. Well, if it doesn't snow, we're going fishing. Hell's been snowing every week around here. So, but I better quit before I say something that makes myself sound really stupid. But thank you all for being here. Really, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. If it wasn't for all of you who watch this, who support conservation, who are mentors to beginning hunters, new hunters, I don't care what age they are, hunter ed instructors, all of you who do so much for your communities, your volunteerism, or those who work in jobs that might be thankless but super important, I'm just thankful for all of you. So anyhow, we really appreciate you. And remember, we got these wonderful sponsors who make this possible. Go Hunt, Bowtech, Leupold, Gerber, Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls, Tight Spot, Ripcord, Black Gold, and this week it was Mystery Ranch Backpacks. Go to most of them and use promo code Randy. When in doubt, go do your online shopping at gohunt.com, and I know promo code Randy works there, and you'll save a bunch of money. Be safe and have a happy Independence Day. Remember, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and women, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, such as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So go pursue some happiness on the 4th of July. Take care.